Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. This video, you can see it is a bit different. You're not going to see my face right now, but I wanted to talk about something that is very important, and it is the topic of how can we change limiting beliefs or even resolve some kind of trauma or problems we've had from our childhood or from another time. Recently, which means last month or the month before, I don't really remember, I discovered Dr. Bruce Lipton on YouTube, and he is a doctor and even used to be a professor for biology. And this good man, he did a lot of research when it comes to genetics and epigenetics. Epigenetics means it is over genetics. Back then, people thought that our genetics basically can determine whether we get sick or not, and epigenetics says, yeah, there may be some kind of factors, but you have influence on markers on your genes. Are they switched on or switched off? So you can switch markers off in order not to get some kind of disease, whatever that may be. And also he's talking about something that I find really fascinating. And yeah, you maybe already read the word hypnosis here. I do have a bee in my room. If you hear that, I'm sorry, it's humming. Anyway, I learned hypnosis as well. I'm a hypnotherapist. I did that in my mid-20s, so about 15 years ago. And I know that hypnosis is a very good method to reprogram trauma or old beliefs, because in the state of hypnosis you can find what is the cause of whatever problem I have, and then you can actually change the memory of that, or you can change that limiting belief. The thing is, often one session may not be enough. If it's deep rooted, then it may not work. Some people need more sessions if it is something that is deep rooted. But anyway, so he is saying that we do have different kind of brain waves, and I opened this as well. This, you see, it's Healthline and it is theta waves, and this side also says we do have different kind of brain waves: gamma, beta, alpha, theta and delta. When we are awake, we usually are in between beta and alpha. Beta would be more alert, and alpha, if you're like beta means you are awake, you could say. Alpha is, yeah, you're awake, but you're a bit more relaxed. You're just chilling, you could say. And then gamma would be if you're like really focused on something, if you want to learn something, if you're trying to solve a problem. And then there's theta and delta. And this is what happens when we are sleeping. When we are in deep sleep, we are in delta phase, but the REM phase, rapid eye movement phase, when we're sleeping, or when we're in light sleep, or when we're falling asleep and waking up, that phase, we go through theta. Because when we go from the normal waking state into delta, of course it will have to pass theta state. And theta state is very interesting because according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, and not just him, of course, other researchers or scientists as well, in our first 7 years of our lives we are in theta phase. We are like a computer that is getting programmed. And Dr. Bruce Lipton, he also highlights that that is something that even people a long time knew. There was like this quote, he says, like, give me a child when they're not 7 yet, and I will tell you what kind of life they will have, because that is when we get programmed. Which also means, and this is where the relevance for twin flames can come in, or for karmic relationships. If we have experienced some kind of trauma, let's say abandonment, and abandonment does not mean that someone necessarily died. It could mean mom had to work a lot, or mom had to take care of siblings, or mom was not very emotional, she was not very loving and open. And all of that can cause some fear of abandonment. And then, since we do have that computer program running, when we are adults, we always attract the same program. So you would attract spouses or people in your life who are not emotionally available. Maybe they are in another relationship, maybe they say they don't want anything more than friendship, or maybe it's just like this kind of on-off relationship, or they just constantly withdraw. And if you are on some kind of a journey twin flame journey, then you may have been confronted with this kind of running and chasing dynamic. You know, the person who has experienced mom of not being emotionally available has this deep-rooted fear connected to that, and of course has some kind of fear when it comes to the other person withdrawing. So this program gets into our system the first 7 years of our lives. When we talk about chakras, it is connected the first 7 years of our lives to the root chakra. This is our sense of security. And if something happened here, then we don't have that sense of security within us, and we go looking for it on the outside. But you know that if you want to attract a twin flame or any kind of divine counterpart for that happy relationship, you first need to install that energy within you, that sense of security, which can happen through meditation, for example. I'm going to go back to this, but I was just thinking about something else. Yes, I want to talk for a bit about attachment styles. Okay, it's insider.com. I don't know if this is the most reliable source, but it is based on science. So this was the first page that popped up when I just Googled it. I'm pretty sure it is accurate. Yeah, because there are these 3. Some say it may be actually 4, because there could be the anxious avoidant. You know, that is, you could say, the most problematic one, and I would say that's the one that I used to have. So some people with a secure attachment style, they're just people who meet somebody, they form a relationship, and they have a healthy kind of relationship. But often in twin flame relationships, we could say, not just twin flames, karmics even more so, that we do have somebody who is in the anxious attachment style, and that person will attract somebody in the avoidant attachment style. And both of those, of course, they're not secure, they're not the healthy attachment style. Both have experienced some kind of trauma. The anxious attachment style is what I was just talking about, mom not being present. And for the rest of their life, they will try to find a person that will give them that sense of security that they don't have within themselves. But then they would attract an avoidant attachment style. Why? Your soul doesn't want to, if you're on the anxious attachment style, your soul doesn't want to attract another anxious person where there is a lot of insecurity, there's a lot of trying to control the other person and freaking out when the other person doesn't answer their text for like 2 minutes or something like that. Maybe I'm exaggerating for some people. I may even not be exaggerating. But if those two people would meet and they're both anxious and they're both just like holding on too tight to this relationship, then there's no progress going on. And of course, these kind of relationships do exist. Not healthy though. But your soul, especially if you clicked on this video, then you are most likely confronted with somebody in the avoidant attachment style. You are on some kind of a soul ascension journey. Your soul wants to get mirrored, and then they would get... then your soul would attract somebody in the avoidant attachment style, which would be somebody who also experienced some kind of trauma, and that kind of trauma is making it hard for them to really, really open up. And that is why they withdraw. Be careful with that, because I've heard so many, I don't want to say divine feminines, wanna-be divine feminines who are actually distorted feminines, who are blaming their so-called twin flame or karmic or person, and they say, well, they are always withdrawing. Yes, because they have to mirror you. It is your responsibility to work on the anxious attachment style. Yeah, we do have the healthy, and then they find intimacy often more of a struggle. Yeah, we were talking about trauma in early life, neglect, poor parenting, or abusive relationship. Abusive relationship would more often result in somebody being avoidant. And remember, abusive doesn't have to be physical abusive. That would be one thing. Sexual abuse would be another. But also some kind of emotional abuse can form a personality that finds it really hard to open up. So please, if you're dealing with somebody like this because you're anxious and you're attracted to the avoidant attachment style, don't say they're a narcissist because they're not able to open up and they're not able to give you what you want. Your person is not a narcissist because they cannot give you what you want. If you want them to give you something, and you cannot accept them for not being able to, then who's the narcissist? Yeah, of course it says everybody needs human attachment, and that is also a reason why you would maybe attract somebody who is in the avoidant attachment style. We all have the deep need for contact. We are not all hermits who don't want to talk to anybody else, and these kind of people, and I kind of see myself in that as well, because remember I just said there's actually 4, not 3 different attachment styles, and one is the anxious avoidant, somebody who has both of that. And I used to be like that because I was anxious in romantic relationships. I was always too proud to do a lot of chasing. Me chasing was like in separation writing like 3 or 4 emails in a year. So that was me chasing. I always respected other people's boundaries. That was always something that's very important for me, since I do have the avoidant attachment style as well. Boundaries are something that I care about. And that actually most likely came in friendships, when people just wanted to consume me. And I actually sometimes had panic attacks when people were calling me like too often, or I had the sense that they're trying to control me. And many friendships, you could say, ended according to that, because I felt overwhelmed when people just have the image of like a kraken that is trying to hug someone with all of their 8 arms, like being suffocated. And then I had friendships ending like this, and whereas in romantic relationships I was more anxious. I was scared of losing the other person withdrawing. So there was deep-rooted trauma. I had to work a lot of that. And it says here, it starts with our parents related to us. Then we are shaped further by other experiences with friends, teachers, and the first romantic relationships we have. And that is, again, we are getting programmed. And we're going back to Bruce Lipton and the THETA brainwaves in just a second. But yeah, those are our core beliefs because they're deep-rooted. Even if that is something that is not happening on a conscious level, I have many clients who act like that. So maybe one part of you may think, yeah, I'm good enough. Of course I deserve to be loved. But then they don't treat themselves accordingly. You know, they always say yes to everyone because they're scared of saying no to someone, because then they're scared of the other person not liking them anymore. But by doing that, they're proving to the universe, I don't deserve to be treated well because I don't do it myself. So always watch not just your thoughts. Do you think, yeah, I'm good enough? But do you treat yourself accordingly? Can you put yourself first? And we're not talking about being completely egoistic, because we're still connected to other people. We are still part of a community, and of course we want to help other people if help is needed, but not to our own detriment. If our body says, no, you need to rest today, then that's what we need to learn to do, to put ourselves first in these kind of situations. So yeah, the secure attachment already, it means you're comfortable with intimacy and you're satisfied in relationships. Anxious, that's the one we want to talk about, because that is something that often happens in these soul relationships, you know, where there's stuff mirroring going on. Worrying too much for the other person and taking everything personally. They don't live in the moment. They have a lot of high hopes and they get attached to potential. This is often because they expect their relationship to define them, rescue them, or complete them. They cling to their partner codependently because they are afraid of being alone. And this is the distorted feminine energy. And distorted feminine, again, you know, it has nothing to do with your gender, what you've got between your legs. It is more the energy you inhabit. So a man can be the divine feminine as well. But in those kind of soul connections, the distorted feminine energy is exactly that. They cling, they're codependent. They think like, if my person doesn't talk to me, then I can never be happy. I need them to be happy. I need them to act the way I want them to act. I need them to be here. I am not able to give them any space to withdraw. I need to know everything. I need to know what they're doing. I'm controlling what they're doing online. I'm always scared of them leaving me, neglecting me. So this is where that kind of trauma comes in. Yeah, by that, of course, you push the other person away. Nobody wants that. And that kind of behavior always pushed me away. I can say that from personal experience. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So please don't point your finger at the other person. Oh, they are withdrawing. Why are they withdrawing? That is up to you. They are your mirror. So we always have to fix ourselves. And We're going to go back here later, because then we're going to talk about how to fix yourself, because it's possible. Yeah, they feel unsure and unsafe, and then they're clingy, demanding, possessive towards their partner. So as soon as the other person withdraws, they panic. Yeah, sometimes they play games. I know clients who do that, for example. It's like they're breaking up, and then they're calling me like, I broke up with my person, when are they coming back? And I'm like, well, you broke up, so you should be the one telling them you want to go back. Yeah, but I just broke up because I wanted them to be scared to lose me, so they would finally come forward. So these kind of mind games, they will bring you nowhere. Okay, that is just not going to happen. So the avoidant, this is like the distorted masculine wound, you could say. People with an avoidant attachment style completely avoid relationships altogether, or keep anyone new they meet at a distance. They may sabotage their blossoming romances out of nowhere because they are scared their new partner will leave them, so they get in there first. You see, it's basically the same wound. And that's what I always told my clients. The divine masculine, they have the same wound, both fear, abandonment. But they are on the other end of the spectrum. They handle the situation completely opposite. This is an unconscious attempt to make sure that they never again go through anything like they went through with their original caregiver. The irony is that by engaging in these defenses that we learned, we are actually recreating the very thing we are trying to avoid. Avoidantly attached people can be divided into two categories, dismissive and fearful. I was the fearful avoidance. Dismissive avoidant people have the tendency to emotionally distance themselves from a partner and thus come off as overly focused on themselves. And you see that is again why would a distorted feminine, not a divine feminine would never point at the other person and say you're a narcissist. That's not divine energy. Never ever would a divine feminine do that. Not ever. A distorted feminine would do that. So you see, this is somebody who is traumatized, and then there's people, the distorted feminine, pointing at the trauma and saying, yeah, you're a narcissist. No, it's just the way they handle their trauma. You know, we shouldn't be that kind of biased or judgmental. Again, judgmental is nothing connected to divine energy. That is distorted energy. So that would have been me back then. The fearful avoidant people are afraid of being too close or too distant from their partners, which means they can struggle to keep their emotions in check, get overwhelmed easily, and they can have intense mood swings. No, actually that is not me. I didn't have mood swings. In romantic relationships, I was more in the anxious attachment style, but not to an extreme, not in like bombarding the other person with messages. I was always too proud to do that. But in friendships, when people like wanted to consume you, and you already see the kind of vocabulary I use, consume me, because that's how I felt. And that is probably nothing with a person with a healthy attachment style would have said. And right now I wouldn't say that anymore, but right now I know how to quicker set up boundaries in order to make sure that people don't try to use me, because that is something that often happened when you are the spiritual teacher and you're the helper syndrome. People try to use that, and so now I have learned to say no, or don't give all of me. They see the relationship from the working model that you need to go toward others to get your needs met. But if you get too close to others, they will hurt you. Yes, exactly. That is how I felt. In other words, they're the person they want to go to for safety is the same person they are frightened to be close to. As a result, they have no organized strategy for getting their needs met by others. Yeah, how did I change that? And that is what we're going to talk about next. A lot of meditation. Years and years of working on myself, a lot of meditation. But now I can give you a shortcut, something that I kind of like knew for a while, because again I used meditation, but now we do have the science to back it up, thanks to Dr. Bruce Lipton, and it has to do with the theta state. Remember, we said earlier, in the first 7 years of our lives we are in the theta state. This is where we are getting programmed. We are in theta state every day, when we are falling asleep, when we are waking up, and during the time in between, during the night, all the time. I do have a smartwatch, and I was checking it out. Usually when I sleep like 7 hours, I have like 1.5 hour deep sleep, and the rest are light sleep or REM sleep, which is like 5.5 hours, in which we are in theta state. And theta state is the state we can get programmed. Also, when you meditate, you get into theta state. Hypnosis is basically nothing else than a meditation. Hypnosis is a guided meditation, and you could also say a meditation is a self-hypnosis, because you hypnotize yourself, you get into that theta state. That is why it is so powerful to use that. You can, for example, listen to audio recordings at night, because for many hours, for me again, it's per night, it's maybe like over 5 hours every night, I personally am in that theta state, which means my mind is open to be reprogrammed, you could say, which is an amazing thing. You could also do it with hypnosis, you can do it with meditation. That is how I started. I meditated regularly to find old programs and to change them. That is what I did for maybe like 18 years now. So it took a lot of work to get out of the anxious, fearful attachment style to a healthy attachment style. How do I know I'm healthy now? Well, there's tests online, and I took it. I was very serious, very honest with myself, and the result was healthy, but I recognized my old self in the description of the fearful avoidance. Then constant repetition. That is why we, for example, work with affirmations. What is an affirmation? It is something, or affirmation, it is something you constantly repeat in order to get it into your subconscious mind, because we want your subconscious mind to believe that. We want to reprogram the old belief. So repetition is something that's amazing, and you can actually connect those two. You can listen to affirmations or affirmations while you are in meditation, or you can listen to them during the night. Super learning. I have to say, I have to get into that. I will check it out. I cannot say much about that already. Yeah, you can. It's brucelipton.com for ways to change your thoughts. You can check it yourself. Then, of course, high impact events. When you experience something, of course, if it's really traumatic, that can override another program in an instant. We have, for example, people who have like a near-death experience, or they were officially dead and they come back and it changed the course of their life. You probably heard about something, and yeah, he says terminal illness or something that is like really big can, of course, change that as well. And this is what I wanted to tell you. We have the ability to delete the old programs. You know, doesn't matter if you're anxious or avoidant attachment style. It does not matter what it is. Even if you had a traumatic childhood, you can override it, because every night you are in the state to do so. Anyway, you can use that. And I wanted to show you that I actually have some videos on that. I have different kind of videos I want to show you. We have some meditation, and you see I often have them during the day. They're like shorter ones for like 20-ish minutes that you can listen to every day. And then I do have the same for every night in long. Even if you do hypnosis, repetition is the key. Don't think you can do something like this once and override your programming. No, it may take several weeks or even longer if during the day you, in the beginning phase, still have difficulty staying on the right track and you constantly think negative, which may happen for a while. You know, that is something that can happen. But anyway, I wanted to show you I do have different playlists, and I just wanted to show you what kind of meditations I have. There are not many yet. I just started doing that. The newest one I have, it is basically just saying, oh, my twin flame loves me. Your twin flame loves you. You know, it's about getting into the state of, yeah, my twin flame does love me. If that is something you have trouble with, if you're doubting the love your twin flame has for you, then you see this one is childhood revision, and there's affirmations about, yes, I had this happy childhood, isn't it wonderful? So yeah, this one down here, my twin flame loves me, is a meditation where I constantly repeat that your twin flame loves you. I In this one, I actually wrote down the affirmations and affirmations. We can check those out. So here you can see I'm using affirmations and affirmations. If you don't know the difference, I do have videos on that. Those are just the words, the phrases, the affirmations I'm using. You know, my twin flame loves me. My twin flame loves me so much. How is it that my twin flame loves me so much? Why is it so easy to trust in this connection? Why is it so easy to focus on myself? I completely trust in this connection. I'm aligned. I'm happy. So that is basically what I'm repeating over and over again to get you into the state of trusting in this. Then the childhood revision meditation is giving you new memories, overwriting the old memories of trauma. You know, and I'm using affirmations like, I don't remember the exact words I use, but giving you new affirmations. I remember how I was always safe. I remember how my parents always loved me. I remember how I was always taught that I'm amazing, you know, in order to basically change your memories, to overwrite your memories. Your conscious mind will still know, okay, it didn't really happen that, but we want to change the memories in your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind is what's determining what you are manifesting. So if you have been through some rough childhood experiences, you can do this meditation. And if you have, I would, especially with this one, also recommend to do the long one during the night for a while. Then we do have, this one is living in the end. I created a scene laying on the couch with your person, and you just feel your person laying next to you, because remember, living in the end means you imagine it already happening. Your person already is with you. And if you make your subconscious mind believe, yes, I already am in union with my person, then that will have to push out eventually. That is something that you will then experience. But if you have deep trauma, I wouldn't, it would be a waste of time to do those. Do this one first, because we want to dig out the roots, the negative first. That is the more important thing. You know, if you have had deep trauma, then it doesn't help to put like a band-aid on it. You first have to really clear that wound. This is what this one would do. And then you can pick one of the other ones you really like. And here we do have affirmations and affirmations. So there's different ones. You can pick whichever you think is best for you. I am going to make more. If you have specific ideas on what else I can do for twin flame union, then I am going to record that. And remember, I do have the same ones in the longer version that you can listen to during the night while you are sleeping. So I hope this helped you, and I hope you are well. And yes, I wish you union with your person. I wish you your personal happy end, and most important, I wish you peace of mind if there has been some negative experiences that caused you to either be the anxious attachment style or the avoidant or the fearful avoidant. If you would be in the healthy attachment style, the normal attachment style, then you could only attract somebody who is in the normal attachment style. So if you are somebody who's in the anxious attachment style, like distorted feminine energy, you most likely attracted somebody who is in the distorted masculine energy or the avoidant energy, or vice versa. If you are in the avoidant energy, you most likely attracted somebody who is in the anxious attachment style energy, distorted feminine energy. So again, and this is so important for me because I think it's really, really toxic, and I see it going on in the spiritual community, just labeling other people narcissists, and that is extremely toxic and nothing that has to do with divine energy. First of all, ask yourself, why did I attract somebody who would be a narcissist? And also, if those people just have experienced some kind of trauma and that is their coping mechanism, don't judge them for that. If you would be in the healthy attachment style, as I said, then you would have attracted somebody in the healthy attachment style. If you're not, then do your own stuff, get rid of that, and then by that you can change your person, because your person has no free will. I do have a video on that. Your twin flame or person has no free will. It is you who decides which version of them you will get ultimately. So do your work and you will automatically attract your person afterwards. I hope this helped. It is a bit longer than I expected, but yes, I hope you got something out of it. If you are interested in personal coaching, then I am available. And yes, I wish you all the best now. Bye-bye.